Hello, and welcome to this chapter on 4 dimensions of service management in ITIL. The objective of an organization is to create value for its stakeholders, and this is achieved through the provision and consumption of services. The ways in which the various components and activities of an organization work together to create this value is described by the ITIL SVS. However, before this is explored further, the 4 dimensions of service management must be introduced. These dimensions are relevant to and impact upon all elements of the SVS. To achieve their desired outcomes and work as effectively as possible, organizations should consider all aspects of their behavior. In practice, however, organizations often become too focused on one area of their initiatives and neglect the others. To support a holistic approach to service management, ITIL defines 4 dimensions that collectively are critical to the effective and efficient facilitation of value for customers and other stakeholders in the form of products and services. These are organizations and people, information and technology, partners and suppliers, value streams and processes. These 4 dimensions represent perspectives which are relevant to the whole SVS, including the entirety of the service value chain and all ITIL practices. The 4 dimensions are constrained or influenced by several external factors that are often beyond the control of the SVS. The 4 dimensions and the relationships between them are represented in Figure 3.1. Organizations and people is the first dimension. The first dimension of service management is organizations and people. The effectiveness of an organization cannot be assured by a formally established structure or system of authority alone. The organization also needs a culture that supports its objectives and the right level of capacity and competency among its workforce. Every person in the organization should have a clear understanding of their contribution towards creating value for the organization, its customers, and other stakeholders. The next dimension is information and technology. The second dimension of service management is information and technology. As with the other 3 dimensions, information and technology applies both to service management and to the services being managed. When applied to the SVS, the information and technology dimension includes the information and knowledge necessary for the management of services, as well as the technologies required. It also incorporates the relationships between different components of the SVS, such as the inputs and outputs of activities and practices. The technologies that support service management include, but are not limited to, workflow management systems, knowledge bases, inventory systems, communication systems, and analytical tools. Service management increasingly benefits from developments in technology. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other cognitive computing solutions are used at all levels, from strategic planning and portfolio optimization to system monitoring and user support. For many services, information management is the primary means of enabling customer value. A network management service facilitates value creation for its users by maintaining and providing accurate information about an organization's active network connections and utilization, allowing it to adjust its network bandwidth capacity. Information is generally the key output of the majority of IT services which are consumed by business customers. Another key consideration in this dimension is how information is exchanged between different services and service components. The challenges of information management, such as those presented by security and regulatory compliance requirements, are also a focus of this dimension. Most services nowadays are based on IT and are heavily dependent on it. When considering a technology for use in the planning, designing, transition, or operation of a product or service, questions an organization may ask include: Is this technology compatible with the current architecture of the organization and its customers? Do the different technology products used by the organization and its stakeholders work together? How are emerging technologies, such as machine learning, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, likely to disrupt the service of the organization? Does this technology raise any regulatory or other compliance issues with the organization's policies and information security controls, or those of its customers? Is this a technology that will continue to be viable in the foreseeable future? Is the organization willing to accept the risk of using aging technology or of embracing emerging or unproven technology? Does this technology align with the strategy of the service provider or its service consumers? Does the organization have the right skills across its staff and suppliers to support and maintain the technology? Does this technology have sufficient automation capabilities to ensure it can be efficiently developed, deployed, and operated? Does this technology offer additional capabilities that might be leveraged for other products or services? Does this technology introduce new risks or constraints to the organization, for example, locking it into a specific vendor? The culture of an organization may have a significant impact on the technologies it chooses to use. Some organizations may have more of an interest in being at the cutting edge of technological advances than others. Equally, the culture of some organizations may be more traditional. One company may be keen to take advantage of artificial intelligence, while another may barely be ready for advanced data analysis tools. The nature of the business will also affect the technology it makes use of. Definition: cloud computing, a model for enabling on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provided with minimal management effort or provider interaction. ITSM in the modern world. Cloud computing. ITSM has been focusing on value for users and customers for years, and this focus is usually technology agnostic. What matters is not the technology, but the opportunities it creates for the customers. Although for the most part this is a perfectly acceptable approach, organizations cannot ignore new architectural solutions and the evolution of technology in general. Cloud computing has become an architectural shift in IT, introducing new opportunities and risks, and organizations have had to react to it in ways that are most beneficial for themselves, their customers, and other stakeholders. With this, we've reached the end of this module. We'll continue with other dimensions of service management in the next module. Until then, goodbye.